Hello, folks, and welcome to Trigonometry for the fall term. I just wanted to send you guys out a quick video. Ideally, you've had a chance to look over your syllabus and look over our course setup. I just kind of wanted to go through a couple things for 15 minutes or so to try to make sure we're all on the same page. So you can get access to your course syllabus here. Our course syllabus talks about our course structure, our course description, your prerequisites to make sure we can be successful here. Your textbook is available online. I'll show you that link in a second. You will need to have consistent access to on a computer or your tablets or whatnot online, so you can use Moodle. You will have to have the capability of scanning and uploading files. The phone apps work just fine, so you don't have to have any fancy hardware. You can also scan things in the libraries on campus if that's helpful. We have a number of different kinds of assignments. You will be turning in kind of formal notes that you'll take. You'll have workbook assignments, which is essentially your homework. I will be expecting you to post on the forums. I'm not going to go crazy about policing what you're posting and what you're not, as long as it's, of course, peer appropriate content focused on the math department and focused on your math stuff. Don't you know? Don't be bad on the forums, obviously. But I'm not going to go crazy about this was meaningful and that wasn't meaningful and all that. But I do want you to be working with each other and talking with each other. You will notice I've got the forum posts listed as due on Wednesdays but closed on Friday. That's mostly to encourage you guys to be posting a little bit early during the week. So ideally by Wednesday you've done a post of, hey, here's a question I have, or here's some issue, and by Friday you've got kind of both a post and a response or whatnot. So if you don't have all your posts by Wednesday, don't worry about that. Again, I'm not going to police this overly heavily. As long as you're regularly posting like you're supposed to, it'll all be fine. You will have those quizzes. I'm going to use the focus sets kind of like quizzes. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. And you'll have 2 midterms and a final during the term. The important thing here, these are in-person exams, so you will have to be coming to campus so you can sit down, and I'll be there and we'll take tests, and that's why we're a hybrid course. You're not going to be taking remote exams, so make sure you're planning on being available for those. We will discuss timing. Probably we'll start discussing timing later this week, and get more specific on exact timing as we go along. And you'll have multiple times when you can come through. So make sure you've read through your syllabus so nothing comes as a surprise. If you have any questions, let me know. You do have access to your textbook here. I will be asking you to read your textbook in your sections, so make sure you're prepared to do that. I do have a nice video here on reading math textbooks. It's actually reading textbooks in general, but it's specifically really helpful for math and science. A lot of people struggle getting good information out of a math textbook. It's kind of its own skill. So this video can be really helpful on doing that. So I've got a kind of an overview of what you're going to be doing each week. Generally, these tasks will be due on Fridays. On week 1, I have it scheduled to be due on Sunday, just because we're all getting organized during the first week, so I gave you an extra couple of days. But in general, these tasks will be due Friday. Please don't wait until Thursday or Friday to start doing these things. Ideally, you'll be, getting your reading and notes done early in the week, checking those notes with those videos early in the week, getting your assignments done later in the week, using the forum as you go along during the week, and ending your week getting those quizzes done. We are about 12 hours of 12 hours of work each week. For some of you, it's going to be a little less. For some of you, it might be a little bit more. And that kind of needs to be throughout the week, a little bit every day, so we can stay on task and build appropriate memory. So make sure you're scheduling that time. It's going to be really important. So this is kind of just an overview of what I expect you guys to be doing each week. For this specific week, for example, and most of the weeks will look like this. These will post open as we go along this week. The following weeks will open up for you guys so you can work ahead if you want to. I just kind of didn't want too much on this page all at once during our first week. That can be kind of overwhelming if you've not done a lot of this before. But so each week you will go and read your textbook sections. So you'll, like we're just talking about defining angles and so forth this week. So you'll read through that, and then you'll have note sections for each week. So this is our note section for this week. I do recommend grabbing those notes and trying to, based on the reading you did, try to go through and do as much as you can. It'll help you figure out how much you got out of the reading. It'll help you organize your thoughts, and it'll help you kind of learn from that process. But once you've kind of gone through and done what you can, I've got videos that cover those notes and those notes material. This first one's not great, and I apologize for that. They get better as we go along. But it goes through those notes. Again, yeah, this first one's a little bit ugly. I decided I didn't like this software and went to a different software that's much nicer, and I can have the notes here, and it works a bit better. So it'll go through all of those notes, so you can make sure you've got everything right, and anything you struggled with, you can get help with. Each one of these videos, there's usually only about 1 or 2 each week. Some of the weeks have 3, and they can be an hour long each. So again, make sure you're scheduling time for those. I do recommend going through the notes yourself first. I think you'll get a lot more out of it that way if you go through the notes first, even just for 20 or 30 minutes, and then do the other videos. I think that'll be the most helpful for you. And so this, essentially, these first 3 are kind of like what we would do in class. Then the workbook pages are essentially your homework. So you'll go through those problems, write them all out really nicely and neatly. It does come with an answer key, so you can kind of check, make sure you're doing what you need to be doing, so you can kind of be confident about it. And those notes and that workbook you will be submitting to me. So let me switch over to the other view, so it shows what you guys will see instead of what I see. So you'll download the section, print it out, or just fill it all out by hand. But once you've done your workbooks and your activities, once you've done your workbooks and your notes, you'll be submitting those PDFs for me to grade. Ideally, you've gone through the solutions, you've gone through the videos, and they're all nice and done and relatively correct. And I just give you points for it and we kind of go on. If you get stuck along the way with the notes or the workbooks, do keep in mind you've got the forum that you can post on to get help from each other. You've got the tutoring center on campus. There's online tutoring through the school. You can, and me messages to get some help. Help is out there. You gotta reach out for it and grab it, but the help is out there. As I said, each week you'll be expected to do some forum posts. We've got a couple starting already, which is great. So just, add some discussion topics and talk to each other. You guys will become ideally your best, excuse me, your best help will generally come from each other. So start making those connections and start talking to people. It'll really go a long way to help. So again, ideally, at the beginning of the week, you've read through your textbook sections, you've gone through the notes and the videos, and it's about, even Tuesday or Wednesday. Tuesday probably be better. And then you go through the workbook by Wednesday or Thursday, and you've been discussing on the forum page as you go along, and then by Thursday, Friday, you've got this quiz that you can do. Now this quiz is just your focus sets, so those of you who've done focus sets before will be relatively familiar with it. They're generally just a couple of problems, and my recommendation is to try to go through these problems cold. And what I mean by cold is kind of pretend it's a pop quiz. Pretend, somebody just handed you this. You've got your scientific calculator, a blank piece of paper, and a pencil, and do what you can do. If you struggle with it, that's okay. Do as much as you can on all of it. It can really help tell you where you are, like what you're good with, what you're struggling with. It can be a lot of nice data for you to feel kind of like, if this was a test question, all of a sudden, where would I be? Once you've done it or tried to do it cold, then go back, look at your notes, look through the textbook, look at your videos, get help on the forum, get help in the tutoring center. Use all the resources at your disposal. But trying to go through it on your own blank first can be really uninformative. Do make sure these are nice and neat and organized and good notation, good presentation. This is your chance to kind of show, hey, I'm starting to do college level math and science kind of work. So if they're kind of sloppy and I can't figure out, exactly what's going on, you will take some hits for that. But we'll talk more about that as we go along. So do make sure those are all in by Friday, and we'll be good. Now, again, Sunday this first week, hopefully you'll try to get this all in by Friday this week, so you can start doing your reading and your notes over this coming weekend. You do want to kind of get in the habit of getting this, particularly these early things, done over the weekend, early in the week, so you can get this stuff done by Friday. It is vital in online classes to not get behind. Traditionally, often I used to have the notes due on Tuesdays, and then the workbook was due on Thursdays, and then I think the quizzes were due for Fridays. So I would enforce getting those notes done early in the week. But a lot of people have different schedules and different constraints. This is a Math 112 course, so you guys are getting, to be more serious students, which is great. So I'm kind of giving you guys the freedom, just get it done, get it to me all by Fridays. But that does put pressure on you guys not to put it off. You put it off until, Thursday and Friday to do all of this, and you're going to get overwhelmed really fast. Please don't do that to yourself. So, once we get through a couple weeks, again, these will populate over this week. I just didn't want them here to be all overwhelming. But once we get a week or so in, we'll start scheduling that first exam. You'll have multiple different times that you can come take those exams. So ideally, you'll fit everyone's schedule as best as possible. Okay, so that's 15 minutes. That's just a quick little overview. I do have formal office hours from 11 to 1. On Tuesdays, that's just to kind of have a time where you can, guarantee I'll be here and be able to respond to emails, set up Zoom calls, and chat with you guys. But ideally, you guys will be, letting me know you need some help, and we can set up appointments that work with your schedule, so you can get nice Zoom appointments when you guys need them. I do have a tablet board and such here, and so we can set up appointments and go over problems and look at things. Or if you guys are like talking on the forum about some problems, somebody send me an email and say, hey, we've been talking on the forum, we're struggling with section 5.1 number 8. Can you give us some help? And I can make a video on that particular problem and send that out to everyone. I'm very happy to do those things. You just guys have to reach out and let me know what you need. On that note, please, if you have any questions, any concerns, anything I can do for you, please send me a nice email, and I'll get back to you. If for some reason you don't hear back from me, send me an email saying, hey, did you get my first email? Sometimes, I miss things. Please don't I've had this happen where somebody sends an email and it gets missed for whatever reason. I miss it for whatever reason. And they just kind of go, well, I guess I'm not going to hear back. And they just never send anything. If I missed your email, I deeply apologize. I am looking out for them. But if for some reason you don't hear back fairly quickly, send me a little, hey, did you get that? And I'll deeply apologize and let you know. But just don't be quiet. Be loud. Be nice, but be loud. Okay, I'll let you guys go. Do let me know if you need anything. And again, welcome.